Hey everyone, Golden Ninja 3000 here again. Welcome to this week's episode of World Builder Wednesdays, where I take a look at a different world each week on the LEGO World Builder platform, powered by Tongle. There are a lot of awesome worlds that have been cropping up lately, including things like Knights of Magic, but this week we're actually going to be refocusing and taking a look at a Ninjago world. This is Ninjago Cloak of Conflict, created by the architect Visitor. The basic idea behind this world is that it's a new season of the Ninjago TV show, continuing directly on from season 10 and the Oni trilogy. Garmadon returns, and that divides the ninja team, and they kind of have to deal with those divisions and navigate their way without each other to deal with with the return of their greatest villain. I think that that's a really interesting concept because I've only watched Ninjago up through season 10, and I like that they brought Garmadon back, but I was kind of sad that he just vanished after that. So I would really love to see him return, and I think that this world has a lot of really cool ideas. In a lot of the worlds that I look at, characters are often a standout for me. However, because this is based on Ninjago, most of the characters here are just people that we already know and love from the TV show. I do like what Visitor has done here by creating newer suits by just taking existing prints and mixing them with different armor pieces, and I actually really like the art. The background is simplistic but effective, and I really like what he's done with Garmadon, where he has him half evil and half good, and I just really like the whole kind of purple black and white aesthetic that has been established here. However, beyond the ninja, we do have some civilian characters as well, and they do have a different background for them, so I really like that. And then we also have an original villain. There's not a lot of information about them, but their silhouette I already like quite a bit. You've kind of got that Oni mask style, as well as a cape from that Spider Queen minifigure from the Monster CMF series a few years back. So I'd really love to see this character in particular fleshed out a little bit more so that we can find out more about who this mysterious villain is. However, the biggest standout here for me are the storylines. There are 12 storylines in this world, and I remember coming across this about a month or two ago, and I was just struck by what this architect has done. So first of all, again with the art, I love these simplistic little posters for each episode, but what's really awesome is that when you click into each element, this user has actually created a full script for every single episode. So you have links to them on Wattpad and just on Google Drive, and so you can read through this entire season that this person has written out, which is something that I've never seen on World Builder before. This is a proper 10 or 11 episode season, I don't remember exactly which, and again, these scripts, I've read through a little bit of one of them, and I'm very impressed by what the architect has done here, because like I said, this is a complete episode script. There are 24 pages here, and so I really hope that this architect goes far. I want to see him get to dabble in Ninjago somehow, whether it's creating a short film like I did or something, or actually getting to work on the show, because the fact that they've created 11 scripts for a season is just that's crazy to me, and I'm really glad that they have a World Builder to be able to spotlight it on. So despite how awesome the actual scripts are, I do think that this world needs a little bit more work, just incorporating elements on the platform itself. So we do have some transport here. These all sound pretty cool. You have a new version of the Destiny's Bounty, you have a new Ninja DBX, you have a dragon made of dark matter, but it would be great to see some art or some builds for these if that's something that you guys want to contribute. As far as items and resources, they're kind of just things that we've seen in the show already. We have the staff of the first Spinjitzu Master, as well as Dark Matter returning from Season 2, on the Dark Island and everything. And I'd really love to see some more items in here in particular. Ninjago is something that's always very heavy on the items, like magical artifacts, something that people need to find, and then they're often scattered across the sets as well. So I would really like to see some more of that in here. And the other area where this world needs some work is with the society, history, and places parts. I am sure that there's a lot of information about this stuff buried in the script, but like I said, it would be great to just get a little summary. And the reason why I really want to know a little bit more about the background is because I love that there are scripts, but I don't really want to be reading through 11, 24 page scripts right now. So I'd love to just get a little bit of a crash course in what's going on here. And something that's really interesting is that in Ninjago City, what the architect has done is that after the fall of Ninjago City in season 9, it's kind of become divided between the rich and the poor. So there's an interesting new like social order developing where, you know, you have really rich people and you have really poor people, and there are good and bad in both camps. And so I think that that's a really interesting social dilemma to incorporate into Ninjago. But I would love to see some more of that background on the actual world builder platform, because I think that that's what's really needed in like the society section, and that would be a great addition to that. All right, everyone, I'm here with Daniel, the creator of Ninjago Cloak of Conflict. Why don't you start by introducing yourself and some of your background with Lego?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Daniel, and I've been a Lego fan really since I was 4 or 5. The first Lego set I remember getting was this Lego pirate ship. It wasn't a very big one. It was just a small little set, but I got that for my birthday. Again, like 4 or 5, and that sort of was the spark. And from there, as a little kid, I would buy like Lego Star Wars battle packs. I remember it was a big thing, and enjoyed building Lego, the building process as much as the finished product. But it was Ninjago that really got me into Lego, and is probably the reason I'm still on the Lego today. And so I've been pretty much a day one fan of Ninjago ever since 2011 with the pilots. I remember the hype around that when it first, in like elementary school when it first came out, and getting some spinners for probably Christmas and watching the special when it first aired. And then when season one rolled around, I think that's when I really got into it. And the this kind of serialized series just really appealed to me. And I mean, I've stuck with it ever since. It's had its ups and downs. It's had seasons that are better than others, but they've all been of a quality that I've enjoyed and be able to enjoy, throughout an entire decade of my life. So yeah, that's my experience with Lego.
Yeah, it's great to meet another Ninjago fan. I don't remember
Mhm.
watching. I think I got into it in like 2012, so like just a year after it started. But I remember when the sets came out in 2011 because they were like fascinating to me, like all the dragons and everything. So how did you come up with the idea for Cloak of Conflict?
Yeah, so it's an interesting chain of events. The original idea of Cloak Conflict was actually two separate seasons that I had two separate ideas in my head for storylines or seasons that Ninjago, that I would want to see in Ninjago. But I think I've always been, as a kid, thinking of, my own storylines for Ninjago and, other, Star Wars, Marvel, other franchises. But the first idea that I had was not a very original idea, but a lot of people had was this idea of like a Ninjago war season. And having a season where whatever it is, the ninja want to need to be held accountable for the damage they cause, or whatever spark it is that divides the ninja. And I think a lot of people have, this isn't a very original idea or anything, but it was an idea that I played around with and had. And I actually no, I never wrote much of it. Maybe I wrote like a page, but when I was younger, I wrote this start of a season. I think I called it Fire and Ice. But it was very different than Cloak Conflict, other than the fact that it was about the ninja team being split in half. But then the other idea for a season, which maybe is a little bit more recent, is this idea of like a sequel season to the Oni trilogy. And so basically picking off Garmadon's character arc. I don't know how many people watching this are extremely familiar with Ninjago, but picking up Garmadon's character arc from the end of season 10 and continuing it and exploring his relationship with Lloyd. And so these are two ideas that I've always kind of wanted to see in in Ninjago. And I specifically remember I was building the Skull Sorcerer's dungeon set, so pretty relatively recent, and just thinking about these two ideas, and I kind of realized that what if we use that idea of the Lloyd and Garmadon relationship and have Garmadon resurface and have that be the spark that divides the ninja team. And so from there, I kind of just pretty quickly, I kept thinking about it and pretty quickly devised kind of like a plot line that I wanted to see, and like the major plot beats and how it would end, and the general character arcs for the ninja and who would be on what side was obviously a big thing. And pretty quickly started writing it. I wasn't sure if this would be something that I read a page of and never do again, never come back to again, or if I could actually finish it. I'm happy to say that I have finished it. I mean, there's still some tweaking that I could do, and edits that I can make to it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it and happy to have it finished.
Oh yeah, something that I wanted to ask about. So I thought something really interesting in Cloak of Conflict was kind of like the changes happening to Ninjago City and how there were like kind of clearer social divides between like the wealthy and the impoverished.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask like why you chose to incorporate like some of those concepts.
Yeah. So when I started writing it, I had this kind of goal, whether like this sort of subconscious goal of not having a true main villain. So you can certainly look at it and say, all right, this person's clearly a villain character or an antagonist or a person who's morally mm, bad, but there's no true like standard made villain that you would see in most Ninjago seasons where there's a very clear main villain. And so I use this kind of idea of it kind of just all tied together. I wanted to show, first of all, the consequences for kind of Garmadon's reign in season 9 and how that destroyed lives and still messed up the city, and kind of wanted to show that so we could have that as kind of motivation for Garmadon, and also have it as kind of a visual way to show like this could be fixed if we do the things that we need to do in the season that I won't get into. Um, yeah, I thought just having poor people that were good, like Scarlet and Maisie, if you're familiar with the show, poor people who are bad, like Luke Cunningham and his whole alliance mob of people, and then on the other side of the coin, having very rich upper class people in the city who are good, like Cyrus Borg, who's an established character in Ninjago, and this character of Jin Abe, who's very he's not an evil person or evil Ninjago villain in the traditional sense, but he's a very bad character relative to the rest of relative to Borg and other people in Ninjago. So, yeah, just to have good and bad without having to just be the standard evil and, you know, hero, basically.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I like that. It's very layered, and I did like kind of incorporating some of those issues because you're right. In season 9, like the things that happened to that poor city,
Yeah.
um,
Oh,
like of course it would create a lot of problems.
yeah.
So I think it would be cool to explore that fallout. I haven't watched past season 10 yet.
Mm,
But like I mean, I would love Garmadon to come back. I was
yeah.
really sad when they killed him off in the first place. So that wraps up our look at Ninjago Cloak of Conflict. I thought that was a really interesting world to take a look at. You know, I love seeing new Ninjago things because that's how I got my start on World Builder. And if you're looking for how to get your start, we are still running a couple of prompts. Marvel Mechs is ending soon. I know I've been saying that for a little while now. I'm not sure exactly when, but I do believe that there's only a week or two left on that. We're also still running the live action and animation hybrid prompt. We would love to get ideas for that. More kind of like standalone narratives as opposed to episodic ideas. So head over to LEGO World Builder today and start creating. But that's it for today, so don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and check out my website, goldenninja3000.com. Bye for now.